Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Tatai Mahatirema Puro Vibur Nirma Kshatiyada Mushapurusha Gongte Ganam Sudasa Sudasmakalam Krishna Bhagavan Vacham Shime. Let's chant responsively. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. So again, we can read text and translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. I mean, by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And we can share the reading. Utkarshini can read Sanskrit for us. Somebody else can read translation, and somebody else can read purport. Yeah? Okay, let's go for it.
Shri Shukra Uvacha Evam Sankirtitah Krishno Magona Bhagavanamum Megha Gambhiraya Vacha Prahasannidam Abravit.
Translation, somebody else?
I can read the translation, Maharaj.
Okay.
Sukadeva Goswami said, thus glorified by Indra, Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, smiled and then spoke to him as follows, in a voice resonant like the clouds.
Purport? Okay, no one to read the purport, I can do it. Although in this pastime, Lord Krishna appeared to be a small boy, the words Mekha Gambhiraya Vacha indicate that he spoke to Indra with a deep resonant voice of the Supreme Lord, like a cloud, the text explains. So Krishna has very deep voice, very deep voice. And yeah, it indicated that this is not just a little boy, right? Because little boys speak normally with a very high pitch voice. So Krishna was not like that. His voice was very deep and resonant. And it's very interesting that the research says that people who have deeper voice, they normally are more influential than those people who have high pitch voice. This is how it works somehow. So Krishna has very resonant voice, like a cloud, like the cloud, like thunder, right? Thundering voice. I mean, if his voice is like that, you can imagine what kind of laughter he has. And in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is described how Nrsingadev was laughing at Hiranyakashipu at the end of the battle, when Hiranyakashipu was trying to attack him. And this laughter deafened Hiranyakashipu. He was completely paralyzed. He could not fight anymore. So Lord's voice has a lot of influence on people. So let's see what the Lord says. Text 15.
श्रीभगवानुवाच मया ते कार्यमघवन् मखभङ्गो न गृह्णता मदनुस्मृत्ये नित्यं मत्तस्येदृशया भृशम्.
Translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Indra, it was out of mercy that I stopped the sacrifice meant for you. You were greatly intoxicated by your own opulence as King of Heaven, and I wanted you to always remember me."
Okay, purport.
According to Sridhar Swami, Indra and Lord Krishna here exchange a heart-to-heart talk. Indra revealed his mind to the Lord, and now Lord Krishna similarly reveals his own intention. In text 11 of this chapter, Indra emphatically declared that Lord Krishna is in fact everything, and thus, according to Indra's own criteria, forgetting Lord Krishna is clearly a state of insanity. When the Supreme Lord reminds us of his supreme existence, he is not proudly advertising himself like a mundane politician or entertainer. The Lord is self-satisfied in his own infinite existence and is trying lovingly to bring us back to our own perfect existence as his eternal associates. From God's point of view, even the mighty King of Heaven, Indra, is a mere child, and a naughty child at that. And thus the Lord, being a caring father, punished his child and brought him back to the sanity of Krishna consciousness.
Haribo. So this is very interesting, right? That you can imagine the scene, the Supreme Lord in the form of a child is standing in front of really mighty demigod like Indra. But the matter of fact is that Supreme Lord is the father and Indra is acting as a naughty child. So it's like, that's why we say that what Vedas recommend that we should not believe our eyes, but we should believe our ears, right? Hearing is much more important. Here we can, like superficially looking, we will never understand what is the position of Krishna and what's the position of Indra. And Indra made exactly that mistake. He was thinking, oh, this is just a talkative child. And he wanted to prove him wrong, but then he proved himself wrong. There is one story, again from Upakhyanupadesha by Bhakti Saraswati, how one very naughty and impudent child, he wanted to, he didn't like the moon for some reason, and he wanted to offend the moon, and he started spitting on the moon, right? But then all the spitting was landing on his own face. So this is what's happening. If we try to act in an offensive way towards someone who is superior to us, we end up only offending ourselves. And so this is what happened to Indra here. And it's very interesting, right? That externally we look at this situation, this little child, Krishna, just seven years old boy, right? First grader. And he's reprimanding Indra. Actually, he's like addressing him very sweetly, right? My dear Indra. And he says, you were greatly intoxicated by your opulence. That's why I stopped sacrifice meant for you, because I wanted you to always remember me. And yeah, I mean, remembering Krishna, probably this incident Indra will never forget till the rest of his life. Yeah, normally it is like that, right? That when you act in a wrong or offensive way towards someone who is very noble and has very high character, and then we end up realizing it was a big mistake, and so that kind of mistakes we remember for life. And so yeah, that Krishna both made Indra remember him and realize his own position as a humble servant of the Lord. And yeah, here the Lord says anugrahita, anugrinata, acting to show mercy to you. So that this was the display of my mercy. It's very typical, right? That when people have a lot of money and high position and they're glorified, it's really easy to forget the Lord, right? But when people lose all these things, when these things are taken away from them, then immediately they remember the Lord. And so sometimes we can see some people, they come to the temple very rarely, and they always come in a frantic mood, and they desperately making some prayer to the deity, and then they disappear and they don't come back for a long time. So that means, whatever they came, they asked, and their desire was fulfilled, their wish was fulfilled, and then they disappear, right? And Krishna is thinking, wow, what happened? I was thinking that, I'll do a favor to this devotee, and he will, or he or she will come back and kind of be a little bit more grateful, have my association. But then that devotee doesn't come back because that was the only reason he or she came, right? To get something from the Lord. Like the little child, right? You give him the toy and then the child forgets everything. Like children, they like to play so much. And so sometimes to kind of, bring the child back to the reality, parents have to take the toys away, right? Especially if they kind of misuse the toys, parents have to take the toys away. So wealth, power, fame, these are kind of toys for the conditioned souls. And when they get so much absorbed in their play with all these toys, sometimes the Supreme Lord has to take these toys away from them so that they would remember him. And so Indra's pride, and that the word mattasya in here has a number of meanings. Matta means mad. Matta means proud. Matta also means intoxicated. we can understand that pride makes one intoxicated, right? Because one thinks, you know, I'm on the top of the world, even though they are not. And so that they have to get sober. And so yeah, sometimes Krishna has to do things like that, take something away just to help one to become a little bit more sober. And if we're not interested in these things happening to us, then we better do not allow mata, pride, intoxication by pride, come in our lives. Always remember our eternal position as Lord's servants. All right, next text.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, there was actually a question yesterday. Why did Indra during the episode with the Parijata flower, like kind of almost forget his position again after this episode happened?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Actually, in this chapter, we also know that some demons stole earrings of Aditi, right? And then demigods, you know, and then demigods could do nothing. And they Indra actually asked Krishna, come and help, because Aditi is his mother, right? And she lost her earrings and they were in a big trouble. And so Krishna came, he defeated the demon, I think Bomasura, right? What was the name of it?
Yes.
Yeah. So Krishna came, killed the demon, took the earrings, gave it back to Indra, and so it's like Krishna came, did the job, saved the demigods, and then, you know, I mean, how many flowers are in heaven? It's like unlimited, right? And then Satyabhama just wanted a parijata flower for herself. And Krishna just took one tree to take it back to Dwarka. And then Indra started fighting with Krishna just for a little, you know, plant. I mean, it's so ungrateful, right? Krishna did so much job for free without expecting any reward, and he just wanted to take one little plant with him. And then Indra started fighting with him, and so Krishna had to beat the pride out of Indra again. So it's like, yes, that's why we were saying that the word mata means both pride and madness, so, and intoxication. That pride is such an intoxicant that one just forgets everything. We can see that, you know, like drunk people, they just completely lose touch with reality. So apparently, yeah, these examples are there. And Shukadev Goswami actually, when he narrated this particular episode from Krishna's pastimes, he said it's unbelievable how ungrateful these demigods are. I mean, Krishna is doing so much for them, and they still act in such selfish way. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the nature of pride, that one just forgets everything and becomes totally illusioned. Is that helping to understand?
Yes, thank you, Maharaj. As in the question was actually from Monidip Mataji yesterday, but yeah, as in it's very clear, Maharaj. Thank you.
Oh, she's not here.
I'm here, Maharaj.
No, she is.
Thank you.
Oh, here. Okay. Okay.
Thank you,
Good.
Maharaj.
Okay. Oh, we have quite a few people joining us. Good. Okay, let's move on to text 16 if there are no more questions. Utkarshini?
मामैश्वर्य श्रीमधान्धो दण्डपाणिं न पश्यति तं भ्रंशयामि सम्पद्भ्यो यस्य चेताम्यनुग्रहम्.
Yeah, mada, intoxication. Translation?
A man blinded by intoxication with his power and opulence cannot see me nearby with the rod of punishment in my hand. If I desire his real welfare, I drag him down from his materially fortunate position.
Wow, okay. Purport?
One may argue, God should desire everyone's real welfare. Therefore, why should Lord Krishna state in this verse that he removes the intoxicating opulence of one who is about to receive his mercy, rather than simply stating that he will remove everyone's opulence and bless everyone? On the other hand, we may point out that irrevocable death occurs for everyone, and thus Lord Krishna does take away everyone's opulence and everyone's false pride. However, if we apply the Lord's statement to events within one's immediate life, before death, we may refer to Krishna's statement in the Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sathaiva bhajami aham. As people surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. Lord Krishna desires everyone's welfare. But when he says here, Yasya chechami anugraham, for one whose welfare I desire, it is understood that the Lord refers to those who, by their own activities and thoughts, have manifested a desire to achieve spiritual benefit. Lord Krishna wants everyone to be happy in Krishna consciousness. But when he sees that a specific person also desires spiritual happiness, the Lord especially desires it for that person. This is a natural act of reciprocation consistent with the Lord's statement, Samoham sarva bhuteshu. I am equal in my attitude to all living beings. Bhagavad Gita 9:29.
Yeah. So this is very interesting verse 9:29 as well as 4:11. But 9:29 says, first half of the verse says, Samoham sarvabhutishu nan me dishtosti priya, that I'm equal to everyone and I hate no one and I favor no one. But then second part of the verse says, Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maitateshu chapyaham. But those who worship me with love, I show them special mercy. And this is like confusing, right? That Krishna is equal, neutral towards everyone, but he's not neutral to the devotees. It's like so funny that in 9:29 he says, I'm equal to everyone. I don't have favorites. I don't hate anyone, right? But then when chapter 12 comes, he says, what's that? Teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachiram partha my maya vishita chetasam. That for those who exclusively devoted to me, I become the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death, right? But then when chapter 16 comes, Krishna says, Tadaham dvishata krura samsareshu naradhama kshipama jasham ashubham asurisheva yonishu. That those who are demoniac and full of hate, I push them down into the ocean of birth and death, and they repeatedly reincarnate in demoniac species of life. So chapter 9 says Krishna is neutral, no hatred, no favorites, right? Chapter 12 says for devotees, he only shows favors, pulls them out of the ocean of birth and death. Chapter 16, it's like he's pushing demons into the ocean of birth and death. So that's why our philosophy is called Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, right? Unity in diversity, because Bhagavad Gita is such a diverse scripture. Actually, yeah, it's so easy to understand, to misunderstand Bhagavad Gita if you just read one part of it. You have to know entire Bhagavad Gita and Toto in order to have holistic understanding. And yeah, it's quite easy because Krishna also says in number of places in the scriptures that what's that? Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Ekabahunam Yavidadati Kaman, that there is one eternal amongst all eternals and one conscious amongst all conscious living beings who single-handedly fulfills everybody's desire. But how he is fulfilling everybody's desire, that is explained actually in 4:11. It's also a very important verse, 4:11 in Bhagavad Gita. Yet hamam prapadyante tam stata bhajamyaham. As people surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So it's pretty simple concept that yes, Krishna, but in order to get benefit, have to approach Krishna. And if we go away from Krishna, we will not get benefit, we will suffer. It's like the sun, right? The sun is neutral. The sun is shining to everyone. But if someone is coming out to the sun, then he gets the warmth, can get nice tan, whatever. So much benefit is there. But if someone sits in some, dark room, then one will never get the benefit from the search, right? So it's one thing that the Lord is giving his mercy, but it's the other thing whether we will, make our effort and put our hand forward to receive that mercy. And of course, the demons, Krishna is putting them into the material existence, and they suffer in this material existence. Why? Because this is what the demons want. They want to be happy without Krishna, right? But Krishna is the source of happiness, Anandamaya Bhyasat. So there is no happiness without Krishna. But because to be happy, the only feasible option in this material world to experience happiness is to have a lot of misery and then to take a little break from miseries. So this is what people call happiness in this world, right? I came across one joke which says that you can easily make anyone happy. You know how to make anyone happy? Do you know how to make people happy? It's very simple, that First, you make them miserable, and then you remove that misery. And then they will be happy. Like, you can take away somebody's smartphone, right? And then they will be looking for that smartphone and, you know, kind of getting really anxious and worried. And then you say, oh, I found your smartphone, right? Oh, they'll be just happy again. So it is like that, material world. There is no happiness here, just an illusion. But yeah, because people are intoxicated, right? Intoxication with power and opulence. It prevents us to see Krishna with a rod of punishment in hand. And this verse is kind of very relevant for today's situation in the world, right? Because so many people, materialistic people, they became blinded by their power and opulence, right? It's like a lot of opulence in this world, if you think about it. That even a layman, even like completely ordinary people living in London, can just go to the shop or supermarket, whatever, and buy all different types of fruits exported from any, you know, from everywhere on the planet. Like you can have cherries from Chile, and you can have mangoes from India, Afghanistan. You can have anyway, you can have so many things from all over the world. Before, only, you know, like some kings could enjoy such opulences, right? And before, only like yeah, royal family members or some highly positioned people. Can you put it on the fridge? In the fridge, yeah. Only like those who had very high position in the society, they could have their chariots, they could ride on the chariots, right? Ordinary people, they were just walking. And nowadays you can see that everyone has chariot, everyone has a car. So people are enjoying a lot of opulence, and thus they are completely forgetting, they think they're lords and masters of this world. And so because they are in this illusion, they think we can do anything we want, right? We can destroy the forests, we can kill the animals for food, we can do all types of crazy things. People really started getting mad because of so much opulence they received. And you know why they received so much opulence? By the way, anyone knows why people in 19th and increasingly in, especially in 20th and going into the 21st century, enjoy so much opulences, you know, unimaginable opulences? Anyone knows? Why did it happen? But yeah, people are living like demigods. They fly the airplanes. We read in Bhagavatam that only demigods can fly the airplanes. Now any fool can fly the airplanes, right? Just pay a few £100 and just buy a ticket and fly anywhere you want. So people enjoy a lot of opulences. Why? Anyone knows? Any guesses? Why people
Maharaj,
got all?
Maharaj,
Yeah.
my son says, Somanchu says it's the desire. Krishna is fulfilling the desire of humans.
Yeah, but they always desired opulent life, but somehow it's only now, in the past few hundred years, these desires became fulfilled quite easily. Okay, I can tell you, because that's the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? He gave people holy names, and chanting of the holy names is helping people to become free from all the results of their sinful activities, and giving them all the blessings. Actually, this is the byproduct of spiritual life, of spiritual practice, that one gets material benefits as well. But people became too sidetracked by this, and they became very proud, and they became abusive. Actually, this is also described in Bhagavad Gita, right? That chapter 6 explains the destiny of unsuccessful transcendentalist. Right? If someone fails to achieve topmost result, which is going back to the kingdom of God, then he takes another birth in this material world. And what kind of birth? Shuchinam Shimatam Gehe Yoga Brashta Bijayate. That people, they get birth in very opulent situation, highly positioned family, and Krishna is making, material life for quite easy. Why? Because the idea is that you don't have to exert yourself too much just for basic necessities of life. You can have them with very little effort, so that the balance of time and energy could be dedicated to the Lord's service. But the problem is that people are getting all this opulence and they forget the Lord, and they become completely engrossed into sense gratification, and they become very abusive. And then they completely lose it. Like before the pandemic and before the lockdown, situation became very dangerous, because people nearly pushed the environmental crisis over the edge with their abuse. And Durga Devi said, okay, enough is enough. Lockdown, right? Everyone's under home arrest. No one can step out, that no one can continue destroying the environment like that. So, and it's kind of very mild slap from the Lord's representative, Durga Devi, just to remind people that they're not all powerful, that they're not gods. It's a very simple thing, but not so easy to understand, unfortunately. Indra had to struggle a lot to understand this simple point, that he's not God, he's not supreme. And now everyone's staying home, and thinking about their misbehavior, and realizing they are not supreme controllers of this world. So it's very good situation. And I think people mostly will learn good lesson from that. But if they won't, there will be another slap, a bit harder than the first one. And so these slaps will continue because, yeah, this is the golden age. And Krishna is very, very merciful to everyone, but out of his kindness, he will not allow people to deviate from the path of spiritual advancement. It's like we are lucky that even if we will refuse to advance spiritually, Krishna will, put certain measures to enforce our spiritual advancement. Hare Krishna. So, if there are no questions, we can continue with the next text. Read a couple of texts more, perhaps. Let's see how much we'll handle. Okay.
गम्यतां चक्रभद्रं वः क्रियतां मे अनुशासनम् स्थित्यतां स्वाधिकारेषु युक्तैर्वः स्तम्भवर्जितैः.
Thank you. Translation.
Sorry.
No one. Yeah.
Indra, you may now go. Execute my order and remain in your appointed position as king of heaven. But be sober, without false pride.
Lord Krishna here addresses Indra in the plural form va, because this grave instruction was meant to be a lesson for all the demigods.
Wow. Quite interesting, right? Gamyatam Shakrabhadram Va. So Indra, now you can go and let good fortune be on all of you, the demigods, right? Now just do what I say. Now just execute my Anushasana, my order. And carry on your responsibilities. And be yuktai, right? So be soberly engaged. Stambhavarjita, without being influenced by false pride. Interesting. Another translation of the word stamba is what? Anyone knows?
Pillar.
Yeah, pillar. So proud people are like pillars, right? You can't move them. They're just stuck in their opinions or views, right? So, and pillars are not known to be flexible, so proud people are not flexible. But actually we are practicing bhakti yoga, right? And what is the perfection of yoga? Like in physical yoga, what's the perfection? How do you know that you perfected? I mean, hatha yoga, just, without going into any spiritual benefits, just how do you know that you gained maximum physical benefit from yoga? Anyone can tell us?
Flexibility and physical prowess, effectively.
Yeah, flexibility. That you can see that yogis are so flexible, right? So bhakti yoga is also yoga, but it is yoga of consciousness. So bhakti yoga means ability to become very flexible. But someone who is proud, they're completely inflexible, right? It's the how does it what is it called? can't remember now the word, that stagnation, something like that. Anyway, so Krishna is very merciful and makes his servants humble. If they don't want to be, he puts them into he humiliates them for their own benefit, as he humiliated Indra. But it's very interesting that even though he does that, but because he's a devotee, Krishna doesn't even fire him, right, from his job. Krishna tells him, okay, just you learned your lesson, now go back and carry on with your service. All right, so next text.
अताः सुरभिः कृष्णम् अभिवन्द्य मनस्विनी स्वसन्तानैरुपामन्त्र्य गोपरूपिणमीश्वरम्.
Translation.
Mother Surabhi, along with her progeny, the cows, then offered her obeisances to Lord Krishna, respectfully requesting his attention. The gentle lady addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was present before her as a cowherd boy.
The statement here that the heavenly cow Surabhi approached Lord Krishna along with her progeny, Swasantane, is a reference to the transcendental cows who play with Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. Although Lord Krishna's cows are transcendental, the heavenly cow Surabhi affectionately saw them, as indeed Lord Krishna himself did, as related to her. Since Lord Krishna was appearing in the form of a cowherd boy, the whole situation was quite congenial, and Surabhi took the opportunity to offer the following prayers.
Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm very curious to know what Surabhi was praying about. So let's look at the text 19.
सुरभिरुवाच कृष्ण कृष्ण महायोगिन् विश्वात्मान् विश्वसम्भवः भवता लोकनाथेन सनाथा वयमच्युत.
Mother Surabhi said, O Krishna, Krishna, greatest of mystics, O soul and origin of the universe, you are the master of the world, and by your grace, O infallible Lord, we have you as our master.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out here that Mother Surabhi is feeling great ecstasy as she repeats the words Krishna, Krishna. Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill by his mystic power and thus protected the cows of Vrindavan, whereas her so-called master Indra had tried to kill them. Thus Surabhi now clearly understands that it is not the demigods, but rather the Supreme Lord, Krishna himself, who is her real master forever.
Very interesting. Yeah, it's quite amazing what the pride can do, right? Indra, I mean, supposed to be devotee on a very high level, but he wanted to kill all the cows. Like, can you imagine devotee killing cows? It's unbelievable, right? But this is how much pride can bewilder one. So pride is very dangerous. I think, yeah. It's not by chance that pride is mentioned as the first demoniac quality in the fourth text of chapter 16. Dambho namo bimanascha kroda parushmevacha. That dambha, pride, is first. Pride, arrogance, deceit. So these are all demoniac qualities, and pride is very first one. And of course, first devotional quality is humility. And so, yeah, Surabhi is in ecstasy, just chanting Krishna, Krishna. We're also in ecstasy, right? Chanting the names of Krishna. some time ago, my Guru Maharaj introduced, he like really enjoys doing Harinams and interacting with people just on the street, giving them little exposure to Krishna consciousness. And so he showed one interesting trick. He's very inventive, he's very creative. So he would chant standing in one place, and then people would gather to see what's happening. And then he tells them, we're spiritual people, we're all yogis, we're practicing Bhakti yoga, and yogis can perform miracles. Do you want to see miracle? Do you want us to perform miracle for you? And of course, all people say, yes, we want to see the miracle. He said, okay, but in order to see the miracle, you have to repeat magic words after me. And then people, okay, they agree. And then he said, please repeat Hare Krishna. Then they all repeat the miracle. Just look at each other right now. And people look at each other, and he said, you see, everyone smiles, some people laugh. Just, like a minute ago, you were so kind of, depressed or something. You look pretty depressed, but now you're all happy. This is what happens if you chant these magic words. And if these magic words just make you happy, so happy in 1 minute, just imagine what can happen if you will always chant these words. So, and then, encouraging people to chant Hare Krishna. So, but it is true that we're just chanting Krishna, Krishna, and then Krishna enters into our lives, and so many things are revealed, and so many things are changing. So we're very lucky. So let's read one more and probably stop here. And if there are any points you like to discuss or any questions, we can do that. Okay.
Maharaj, I got one. So, Mother Surabhi, she is not living in Golok Vrindavan because the master is Indra. So, is she in the material?
Well, apparently the Surabhi cows are not just in Goloka Vrindavan, but also in heavenly planets. They also have Surabhi cows. This is what I understand.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. All right.
Hare Krishna. It's Vivek here.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. When we say that everybody wants the human form of life so that they can remember the Lord and serve the Lord. And in the heavenly planets and demigods, they don't have that luxury of remembering the Lord and praying the Lord. So, because they are also in material, but in a higher planet. So, when Indra didn't recognize Krishna as a supreme Lord, and he became jealous that his sacrifice is stopped and is being offered to Govardhan, and he started that reign. So how come like demigods know the form of Supreme Lord is coming to take incarnation, or which one is the Supreme Lord? So they are like just in the material world and acting on a material platform as well.
Demigods on material platform.
Yeah, aren't they?
Well, they are on material platform for sure, because demigod is not spiritual form, but it's much more advanced than ours. Actually, it says that demigods, they don't have this kind of gross bodies like us. They only have subtle bodies.
Okay.
No, but it's not like they are ghosts or something. It's these, they apparently do have, you know, also the elements like earth, fire, air, water, ether in their bodies, but looks like those elements are in pure forms. Like it also says that our universe is surrounded by different shells consisting of the elements, but these are what we call primordial, original elements in their pure form, so they're very different. You know, the pure element of earth apparently is very different from the earth we know, and same stands for water. The analogy can be given, for example, the raw form of the diamond doesn't look very attractive at all, because diamonds, they originate from coal, so they don't really look very attractive, but then when they are processed and polished, then they become very different. All right, is it helping?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's read the final text.
त्वं नः परमकं दैवं त्वं न इन्द्रो जगत्पते भवाय भवगो विप्रदेवानां ये च साधवः.
Translation.
You are our worshipable deity. Therefore, O Lord of the universe, for the benefit of the cows, the brahmanas, the demigods, and all other saintly persons, please become our Indra.
The Supreme Lord is self-sufficient. He can do everything himself. The Lord appointed one of his innumerable children to the position of Indra, the Lord of the cosmic heaven. But Indra abused his authority, and now Surabhi requests Lord Krishna, the absolute truth, to directly become her Lord, her Indra. We should carefully perform our duties without false pride. Thus we will not become obsolete and embarrassed, as in the present case of King Indra, who actually attacked Lord Krishna and his Vrindavan devotees.
Yeah. So yeah, after this, there will be very exciting description how actually Krishna became, he got this title Govinda, right? Govinda, that's the Lord of the cows, King of the cows. And yes, Rabbi realizes that he is the real master, and she surrenders unto him, because Indra proved himself obsolete and embarrassed, and yeah, attacked Krishna. And so these chapters are specifically helping us to realize the dangers of pride in Krishna consciousness. No matter how high position we hold. So yeah, especially when we normally if we don't hold any positions, then you know, pride is not so much of an issue. But if someone holds high position, then well, you know, there is danger of becoming proud. And so yeah, from here onwards, we'll move into this description how Lord became Lord, which is very nice. but we won't be discussing that for now. Our next class will be on Mahaprabhu. Prabhu.
So we were due to have a class tomorrow, but we're going to be postponing that to next week. So I will update the schedule for next week.
Okay. So for next week, we will discuss how Krishna became known as Govinda. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. His Holiness Bhakti Rasayana Sagar Maharaj ki jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
So thank you for your association. Stay home, stay safe. Protect the NHS. And be happy in Krishna consciousness. So we'll meet next week. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay.